What's up, Brody? This kid is now, his nickname, lots of nicknames, but the newest nickname, Big Bass Brody, right? Brody caught the biggest fish today in the boat, a big old giant largemouth bass. You'll probably see a picture on social media, Facebook here, if not, if you haven't seen it already. That was a mega. What'd you catch it on?
That.
All-terrain tackle swim jig. Off the back of the boat, you caught bass, you caught pike. It was a good day, wasn't it? So this past week we saw some warm trends. It was kind of nice. We saw water temps start to jump into the 60s, which was great. Things set up perfectly for the Minnesota fishing opener, which was yesterday. Hopefully everyone got out and had a good time and were safe, caught some fish, made some memories, had some smiles. We certainly did. This morning it was super foggy. We couldn't see anything when we launched the boat this morning at sunrise, and not until about 9 o'clock could you see much. It was very foggy, almost dangerously foggy. So the one thing to remember in those situations is to back off the throttle. You don't need to go super fast. The boats I saw in the water today were all very respectful. Obviously I knew the conditions were tough, couldn't see where you were going. No sense in risking anything. Don't need to be whipping around the lake if you have no visibility. So all the boats I saw today were kind of putzing around, kind of going from spot to spot. We caught a bunch of fish, 32 fish in 3 hours today. You caught the biggest one, so this kid right here is on fire. So good morning of fishing, and saw a lot of great reports. So some things that are happening this past week. Crappies are definitely getting into the groove of things. The spawn is on their minds. They did back off a bit. So when we talked a week ago, the crappies were up in the weeds, bellies were fat, the males were getting dark. This past week they actually slid off a little bit. It's funny because now you're caught a bunch in 8-12 feet of water where we're catching them shallow. I anticipate that this weekend those guys and gals that were crappie fishing did find them shallow, did find some fish in the spawn pattern, and this next week or so you're going to see them really kick off. I think we're seeing 80 degrees tomorrow and Tuesday with 70s following and some rain, but it's going to be warm the next few days, and we're going to see that spawn pattern really kick off for both crappies and largemouth bass. The first bass we got today had a really beat up tail. It was about a 2-pound male, really beat up tail, so that's indication of these fish moving up into the spawning area, starting to get into that rhythm, into that pattern, and you can expect to see some of that. Otherwise, we did not really hammer down on walleyes on the opener. We fished crappies this past week, and again, like I said, found them in 8 to 12 feet of water, and then we transitioned yesterday into bass fishing. We didn't target walleyes. We didn't even fish a lake that had walleyes the last 2 days. We basically targeted bass. We targeted northern pike. Pike are fun. They bite hard. You caught some big pike off the back of the boat, throwing that swim jig. They fight pretty hard, don't they? They bite it hard too, don't they? So it's fun. You can chase pike, you can chase bass right now. Bass are catch and release, so some anglers were asking that. You can legally target bass right now in Minnesota. You just have to let them go until Memorial Weekend. And I'd encourage you to let the bigger bass go regardless of the time of year. But you can target bass right now. You just have to let those fish go. You can keep walleyes. Again, look at the regulations out there. Same thing with northern pike. Look at the regulations. Every lake could be different. There's different regulations on different bodies of water on what you can keep in terms of the amount of fish, length of fish. So just make sure before you hit the water and plan to harvest some fish for dinner that you make sure, looking on the DNR website or in your DNR handbook, at the specific body of water you plan to fish, because there could be special regulations on that body of water for walleyes, for northern pike. There's a lot of lakes that have bluegill and crappie regulations now, so make sure you pay attention to that kind of stuff so you're not taking fish out of that system that you shouldn't be. So those are important things to consider. As far as how we caught our fish, you heard it. Brody was talking about swim jigs. We caught a pile of fish on an all-terrain swim jig. I caught a pile of fish on a chatterbait. We caught some fish on spinnerbaits. Caught some fish on crankbaits. Caught some fish on wacky rigs. That's your specialty. What's your favorite wacky rig? What do you fish?
Kamita.
Kamita? What's that color? Remember?
Candy chameleon.
Chameleon candy. That thing is the coolest looking bait. It changes colors, just like chameleon paint in a car. I don't know if they can see it. Let me see. Maybe they can see it here. Hold it up there. It changes color depending on the light. So it looks almost like an earthworm at one point, then it turns to purple, then it turns to ultraviolet, whatever. That is one of the coolest colors I've seen in a Kamita. And we'll wacky rig fish that and catch a pile of fish. That's his specialty. Brody's favorite way to catch fish is with a Kamita. And you have your first bass tournament in 6 days. And I'm gonna guess that's probably what you're gonna fish, right? Oh, you got all kinds of goodies.
I got this from the bass tournament.
You got those. BJ gave these out to everybody. These are, you know what these are? These are recycled plastics. So Junior Bassers and Oka Ramsey Junior Bassers handed out some recycled plastics for wacky rigs to all these kids to go out fishing with. So these are plastics when kids and people are done fishing with theirs that are all torn apart. They donate those,
The Kamitas.
melt them down, and then make new Kamitas.
The Kamitas, but the tip is missing.
Pretty cool, huh? So we'll be throwing some wacky rigs. The fishing right now is pretty good. We're shallow water pattern. It's pretty fun. We fished pretty much in 2 to 6 feet of water the last 2 days and caught a lot of fish from bass to pike. Everything's kind of up there. They're in there doing their thing, finding that warm water, feeding, considering the spawn. They're going to start doing that sort of stuff. So the next few weeks should be a lot of fun to get out and just go fishing. And that's what we did today. We just went fishing. We didn't necessarily, spend a lot of time on one spot. We just moved around the lake, fishing the shoreline, fishing docks, fishing just out from docks in the weeds. Cast, and you don't know what you're going to catch. So it's a great time of year to get out there and chase some fish. I expect this week to be the same. Like I said, water temps are in the 60s now. I mean, we're seeing 60, 62, 63, 64 degree water at the peak of the day now. So things are warming up nicely, and it's been a lot of fun to get out there and chase some fish. You just can't put those down. Those are your favorites. I can tell. You're going to get out there. You don't like that one. That's the one. So this is the chameleon candy. You can see it. I don't know on camera if it really shows the different color. It looks purple to me. Probably looks brown to you, but it looks purple to me. Kind of neat. I love this bait. So I'm excited. We're going to be chasing bass this entire week. I'll be on a variety of bodies of water. I think I'll hit probably 4, if not 5 different lakes between now and the next time we talk. There'll be some diversification on the types of water, so hopefully that gets you a better idea of what I'm seeing from dirty water to clear water to deep lakes to shallow lakes, and I have a better idea. I've been fishing mostly shallower lakes in general, shallower bays. These are warmer water, and that's where I've been doing my bass fishing. Like I said, I do not have a current fishing report on walleye. I know some guys and gals were catching fish up on Mille Lacs, on Leech, Minnetonka. I know there were some walleyes caught, Chisago Chain, Forest Lake. So there's walleyes happening right now for sure. But we decided to take the less crazy route with fishing pressure and target a lake that, like I said, didn't have walleyes. Targeted bass, targeted pike, chase some crappies, chase some bluegills. There's a lot of opportunity right now to go out there and chase some fish. So that's the Minnesota Fishing Opener. It has come and gone. What do you think, dude? Another opener in the books. You excited for the week? Mm-hmm. You excited for fish your first tournament? How many bass are you going to catch on Saturday? Better say a lot.
My first 4-pounder.
He's going to catch his first 4-pounder, he says, on Saturday. I sure hope so. So hopefully you had a great fishing opener. Brody, Big Bass Brody, give me some knuckles, buddy. Good job today. Proud of you. Have some fun. Get out there with the kiddos. Get the family out fishing. And welcome Minnesota Fishing Opener 2021.
Kamita.
Kamita.
Kamita. Kamita.